Hello everyone, this is Kathleen and I'm excited to come this morning to share this finished journal. This is one of the two journals in the Lost and Found series, and this one is called Birdsong. It is 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and it's made from a recycled Reader's Digest cover. It has a 1.5 inch spine, and it has 154 pages in 3 signatures. There are 36 pockets and tuck spots, 27 vintage pieces of ephemera, and 15 different handmade ephemera pieces in here. So let's go inside and see that this cover is just a pretty collage. This is a vintage German tobacco card, and it has these beautiful birds on the front, which is why I've named it Birdsong. So there's just that pretty collage. This is also a vintage button that I am using with the elastic closure. There are some of these beads that I've done. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here's the inside. I've just put this beautiful book plate on the front inside cover. Here's just a rose hedge with some sanding and embossing on that pretty image. It's just a tag for journaling. I've done some of this stenciling throughout the journal on some of the white pages. This is one of the little lost and found elements, just a banner tuck, top tuck there. This is a vintage index card. Some pretty stationery. Just a vintage note paper. This is a paint chip that I have kind of trimmed down and sanded to make it look like rough paint. With some fiber there and some lace. Up river and down. This is another one of the lost and found pieces. And it's just I've just made this thumb cut card, and this is just some lined paper for journaling. Isn't that a beautiful woman? Gosh, I just love that image. I don't know what it belongs to, what kit. It was just in my ephemera. That's just a hand-stamped journal card. This is a lace pocket. This is just a handmade journal card. A couple of pieces of vintage ephemera in here. Journaling. Some ribbon. This is some kind of a game score sheet in there. Some Monopoly money. Just some vintage papers. This is just a little pocket here. And a ticket in this little pocket. And this is a fold-over cluster calendar. This is a beautiful vintage postcard. No, 1904, St. John's Sunday School. So it's not a postcard. It's some kind of I'm not sure, vintage or antique image. It feels like a postcard. This is one of the peekaboo pockets that I've made. Just put that bow there on top of this tag, journaling tag. A little bit of collage here. And this is that beautiful handmade Japanese paper that I found. Just tuck that back there. And there's the peekaboo down here. You can take a look at the playlist of all of the peekaboo pockets that I have. Tucks, pockets. This is a beautiful, just a very pretty pansy seed packet, vintage. It's in really good shape. Just some papers. This is an altered paper clip. Fabric ruffle. This is another one of the lost and found elements. It's an envelope, and there's tucks here on both sides of the flap, and then I just have put it over the edge of the paper like that. So you can put some things in the envelope, you can also put some things underneath. This is some wrapping paper, a vintage ledger piece. This is just a pretty handmade library card pocket. Some vintage stationery and an embellished library card. Lots of room for journaling. I like making writing journals. Best day ever. Some fiber through there. This is just a pretty edge tuck with a vintage receipt and just a digital railroad ticket. I like this. This is that really beautiful, I think it's hand crocheted antique lace along the edge here. A little bit of fabric cluster there with the butterfly flip out. It's another just side pocket with a piece of vintage note paper. It has beautiful aging patina along the edge, and then a vintage check stub. This is also one of the lost and found elements, this folded pocket. There's several of these different folds, you know, you can make with just a sheet of paper. Lots of book artists doing that. And this just a vintage note paper and a vintage recipe for creamy maple frosting. Vintage time card and just a couple of pieces of printed ephemera. This is an altered paper clip, and I just have this recipe card. I liked the way the colors just really matched here, so I put that there. Lots of writing pages. This is a beautiful piece of handmade paper, mulberry paper, with some botanical elements that are smashed inside the handmade paper. So that's really beautiful. This is just a handmade journal card. That top tuck. Here's the other side of the top tuck. A couple more pieces of ephemera. This is another of the elements that I found in that bundle. Just an envelope that I backed, made kind of like a library pocket, and out of the window, and then just have put this handmade journal card there. And there's also a pocket behind it. This is, I've just painted this with acrylics and then done some stenciling. I like the way that turned out. That was very pretty. Here's the background. You can write on acrylic paint. This is some pretty vintage onion skin paper. And just slide it behind. This is another peekaboo element. The center of that signature. Here's a little, another lost and found side cluster tuck. And this is a vintage Fisher's Krusty Pie Bakery, Baltimore, Maryland. Also some vintage paper, Farmland Industries. I just really like that, the grid there, the grid behind, and then the grid over here. I thought that was nice. This is a napkin decoupage, just on some digital print there. Fabric ruffle. This is another double tuck pocket. This is a vintage floral insert card. You know, when you send flowers to someone. So we'll put that there. This is just a stamped journal card. And I've embossed this paper sack to look like the tree this nest is in. And then behind the sack is a little tuck with this little piece of vintage ledger. And the last page has this pretty woman image, and this is vintage stationery, very beautiful. It has a scripture verse down here. If you don't care for that, it can be cut off. There, and then here's the back with the elastic closure. So that is Birdsong, and I really like how it turned out. It's kind of on the stuffed side. Yeah, but I like it. I hope you will too. Thanks for being with me today. This journal will be on my Etsy just as soon as I can get the videos uploaded. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.